itself. There's an ace. They recovered. Let's see how their voices fare on game 2. Enjoy.
The hair marginally repaired, the glasses demisted. We're ready for Clubhouse as map number 2. And I think our voices probably didn't really have enough time to recover from that, but we'll make do. I'm sure this next map is 100% going to be nice and simple, straightforward, no hype moments at all. It's going to be clean and simple, and that's all we have to look forward to, AC. It's going to be boring, isn't it?
Our voices have had plenty of training when it comes to overtime over the last year or 2 days. They're absolutely fine. They know exactly what to expect, and they wouldn't have it any other way, nor would we.
You think you missed the light sarcasm. This is not going to be a clean, simple, straightforward game. We're going to screen through the whole thing again, because that's how this is going to play out. It's the CL Finals. It goes this way every single year. Let's take a look then at our operator bans. Hellraisers are starting off on the defense. It's worth noting, although a few pros I've spoken to recently have said, you know, the general wisdom is that Clubhouse is a defender-sided map, but in the current meta, it doesn't really feel like it, because you look at maps like CC, for example, sites like CC, you open one breach and you've already got a huge amount of control. It's pretty simple to go forward from there. Many wagering that right now the basement is the most defendable site, and still attackers find a way to push their way through that. Habana going to be the first ban taken off the board by Hellraisers. So looking in towards an operator, they were using quite a lot on the attacking side, and a little bit of a different flavour coming in here as well, Ace. MNM banning away the Zofia.
Certainly is different, just taking away one of those more aggressive, I think you'd argue, flex operator, sort of maybe second entry, depending exactly how she's used, but brings a lot of utility to the table, so certainly not somebody you want to be losing in the first minute of the round. We've got Kaid coming in as well, going to be our first defensive ban, and we would expect that followed up with a, I was going to say Mirror or Valkyrie, and Valkyrie it will be, just reducing the intel game that is possible. A couple of outside cams that can be a little bit of a nightmare on Clubhouse, so just choosing to take those away.
You know, I just thought it'd be kind of wild if Hellraisers do go on to win this. We'll have 3 Russian teams in EUL. And someone asked this question last week. What is the most dominant region in Tier 1 Siege right now? And when I say region, I mean within EUL, which country, which area of the world is most powerful when it comes to the number of players, the representation, and the debate was kind of between France and between Russia. If we saw Hellraisers make it in, do we then have to definitively start saying it's Russia? Because they'll have the largest representation.
I mean, you know, we've known for the longest time how powerful the Russian teams are. It's no surprise. You know, when we've seen it was Cherty at the time, picked up obviously by Hellraisers through the Challenger League process, when we've seen Cherty going in and getting regular results off Virtus Pro and Empire in the Russian Major League, you're looking at that team and saying, you know, these boys can compete. These boys can go to the top. You know, there are names on there like a Mission, who anybody who's been watching, you know, Siege Pro League particularly for the last couple of years will be familiar with. But there's newer names as well. And what a performance they are putting in so far. But, you know, we know that Russia is a powerhouse of Siege. And this is just proving it right now.
This is really interesting in terms of the operator bans, by the way, when you think about it. Because looking at the Zofia ban against Exodus, he was having a good time on that in the prior map. But then you look at the bans coming out between, say, the Habana and the Kaid. Now, the normal response you go towards is saying something like, okay, well, a Maverick will bring along in this case if we've got the Habana banned away to get hatches opened up. But you don't really want to bring the Maverick because you've got plenty of nade-bearing operators already in the meta, like Iana, like the Finker, like the Sledge. So do you want to bring that along? Probably not. So instead you're leaning in towards things like the Ace and the Thermite. But when you're looking on the downstairs, you've got a good few hatches to get opened up, so you've got to be very selective and very careful about the way you get this done, especially when Hellraisers are playing out on their own like they are now. You've got the Vigil off-site, you've got Exodus playing off-site. Plenty of things or operators to look to waste a good bit of time here. Not quite a full SSG-esque roam. Right now it's just the Vigil up on the top floor, but it's enough to keep the side of MNM guessing and burn that clock lower.
Exodus is missing an opportunity to take a drone out there, leaving MNM still with 9 active drones, and that is good for them. It's going to be feeding a lot of intel in. Obviously difficult to track down a Mission because he does have the opportunity with that Vigil gadget just to keep himself off those drones. It removes his visual signature and just leaves some little white bars around the top and bottom of the screen just to identify, just to signify that he is present in that area. But you don't know exactly where, and that's what slows you down as an attacker because you got to face check. You know that he's in an area, but you got to check every single corner. You got to go in there ADS'd and ready to contest. There is no quick movement when there's a Vigil around now. Exodus is going to be forced back. I think that will leave us with 4 defenders on site and just a Mission out on the roam. So, yep, exactly that. It's all about finding and taking out a Mission. And MNM, they need to do that quickly.
They do. Here, it's about the speed side of things, right? Think back onto Coastline, the number of times they'd run down 2 minutes on the clock without really seemingly getting too much control. I get a worry that we might see that coming in again, especially on Clubhouse. That is a bit of a bigger map where there are more steps to take. And Emission, just like Hellraisers were previously back on Coastline, making full use of the map, still rotating through it. And Emission, back to site, no one cutting any angle in through CC, no one watching Garage Door, and it's an easy escape back to site. So they've burnt through 2 minutes, and only now are MNM getting to start looking at the site itself, and every single member of Hellraisers, full health, back on site, a beautiful roam.
Short of getting a kill or two, Emission couldn't have played that better.
No.
He's just done absolutely wonderful. He's wasted 2 minutes without taking any damage or any real risk whatsoever. Fantastic play from him. 40 seconds left to go, and MNM have got a lot of work to do. They don't have any hatches open. Emission manages to evade that nade rather and keep himself safe for the time being. Solitov's going to work on this kitchen floor, just trying to make sure that it's going to be safe to open that kitchen hatch. But this is going to come down to a hatch drop for MNM, I would imagine. They're not going to have time to really set anything else up.
Do they know about users at the bottom of main stairs here? Because he could do some damage. Emission might be looking for the swing. He has stepped his way back up slightly, so timing there, not on the side of either side. Users back out of that spot, but here comes the hot drop straight into smoke as well. Nello in towards the back of Arsenal, now going in for the plant, but Rush, he should have freebie to be able to step out here and spray down. Can he see the man? No, he can't. Not going to try and look for it, but all they've got to do is shut him down. A swing comes in. The plant is completed, and it's a 3 versus 3, but the retake upstairs is in. Smash going hyper aggressive, doesn't know about himself being pushed. They don't know he's inside of meat. Gets the shutdown, pistol out, can't find the last man, but Hellraisers get the defuse off and win round number 1.
Great defense from Hellraisers there. As I say, just wasting so much time to begin with, and it just felt like MNM were then a little bit rushed to get that diffuser down. There was no option but for Nello to just drop into smoke, toxic smoke at that, and try to move through and get a diffuser down, which he did. He did well, but he died so shortly afterwards. MNM just didn't really feel like they were set up for the post plant there.
I was kind of surprised because I honestly thought Rush pushing up towards AKs would be able to find the angle down onto the diffuser being planted, but no, either couldn't see through the smoke, was either blocked temporarily, just couldn't get the angle that he needed, and I really thought MNM would have that covered, that someone would be able to kill him once he stepped up to the top side of AKs. Not that it mattered, because Smash spoke about him an awful lot on the last map, playing hyper aggressive into kitchen, steps inside of meat, and MNM clearly are not expecting him to go that deep, because finds one kill and starts looking for the second. It could have been a very different story, though, if the player that managed to get back upstairs, I believe it was Tyrant on the Ash, had managed to kill the man going for the disable, because there wouldn't have been enough time left on the clock. So a little bit unfortunate in that case. A close round, but very scrappy and kind of living on a prayer in a sense for the side of MNM. Hellraisers, again, starting things off with a win.
Going to be heading up to gym and bedroom, interestingly, choosing this site over CCTV and cash. It's something that we've seen over professional players, CCTV and cash, just being sort of moved away from a little bit. It's got to be much more of a 50-50 site, with the attackers finding quite a lot of success on there. So instead, Hellraisers choosing to go over to the west side of the map. Now, we're likely to see an attack still coming in from that east side. MNM are going to want to try and get themselves established in construction if they can.
Playing on behind the bandit as well is one to consider here. Now, could either trick on the jacuzzi wall or look to keep this east side locked down, given they're playing the extended hold. I think one of his batteries has gone down on the single construction wall here to stop that being opened up, and they're going to have to then rotate users over to look to open things up. CC wall's opened up, so no big concern there, but you've got to worry about all the extra elements they've got to step through here to get their view in, and here he is with the electrification coming in onto the double wall between the sites, which will stop Neo from getting this opened up from range.
That's it. Emission's just in a position again of trying to delay. That's what he was doing in the first round as Vigil. He's doing the same thing here. He's just preventing that east side control for MNM, and the reason that you hold on to that is because then MNM can't play on the windows until they've got control over CCTV. Not only is he delaying Des, he's also deadly, taking down Solotov. Emission gets that opener for Hellraisers, and it's advantage once again, and Clubhouse is not starting out well for MNM. Des, they're on the back foot. Exodus gets a kill onto Tyrant. 5 versus 3 now in round 2, but Users manages to keep himself squirreled away and finds that kill as a late trade, bringing us back to 3 versus 4.
A little bit of a freebie there being picked up, and now can get himself back over to join the rest of his team, but the fear is this is all about the east side of the map. This is just breaking open the extended hold. They're not even looking in towards going for the prize, the site itself just yet. Starting to set up for that. They've got the east side control, which means no defensive player is going to be inside of CC to use this is right, meaning this south balcony is safe to play on. He can look to challenge onto the south windows that look in towards bedroom, that looking towards Jim, and can do some damage from there. Now they've got to deal with a mirror window that's looking inside a construction. They don't know there's no one behind it at this point. So again, just more layers being presented by Hellraiser to slow MNM down. And although they're slowly getting there, it needs to pick up the pace a little bit here.
Now, just dipping away over the balcony there as he opens construction wall. The last thing he wants to do is be greeted by a Nitro coming out from behind that mirror window as the wall is breached. So steps himself away. Nice shot from Usus there just to take down that Nitro as it does get thrown towards the balcony. Not going to be successful from the mirror, but Hellraiser's pretty comfortable here. 30 seconds left to go, and they are happy to just hold their angles. But what a shot! Usus, the one who finds the angle onto Emission's head there, takes him down from behind the bomb chassis and keeps the pressure coming in from the window. Neo, Nello managing to work their way into logistics now, but they're going to face up to a shotgun. 1, 2, it's as easy as that for Flares, but Usus has gone big. There is a potential for him here to get the ace. He moves around, he finds it with the pistol, and that is the Usus that we have seen throughout the Challenger League so far. Absolutely decimating the side of Hellraiser single-handedly with the Thatcher.
Even with Flares doing so much work up in logistics too, because look at how it played out. They tried to push in through the breach. They were blocked by smoke. They had to kind of strong arm their way through, and then 2 of them die to Flares' shotgun waiting on the corner. And even with all that work being done, it still comes down to Usus finding an ace to get MNM over the finish line. It wasn't necessarily pretty that you have to rely on one player to get you around, but a round win is a round win. And just like in Coastline, after 2 rounds, everything is equal.
So we're going to be stepping into round 3 now. Going back to gym and bedroom again, Hellraiser's obviously thinking that there's a little bit more that they can bring to the table there. They wouldn't necessarily be expecting to lose so many men to the windows as they did to Usus then. So, you know, maybe thinking that that was a little bit of an anomaly. I think they will go with a similar setup.
Yeah, we saw it back on Coastline as well, if you recall. They repeated playing on Blue and Sunrise. Didn't want to try and say, let's go for the 3-site rotate, unlike Empire, who we spoke about yesterday, who talked a bit about the differences there that you sometimes get where teams will have the same 3 sites. They'll rotate through each one, regardless of whether or not they win or lose, whereas others will try and repeat the site if they feel they can correct things. And that has been Hellraiser's current selection so far today. They lose the site they want to play, they'll go for the repeat. Regardless of the outcome of this round, it means in the next one we can step back down into the basement where they had great success. So MNM know that is waiting, but first, they've got to get through this round.
Certainly do. As we say, set up very similar. Emission's going to start out there with Smash on the east side. MNM were able to move them reasonably quickly. They got that east-sided breach open. Emission did manage to get the opener over there, but beyond that, they were pretty much forced back, especially as soon as that construction breach was opened up. So Neo, he's going to go over to support those efforts, just looking to make sure that Garage is not playable for Emission. Look to get in there and get control. It's all just all part of that east-sided control, and MNM looking pretty good so far, moving quite quickly.
They are, yeah. A lot better than last round as well, where again it took about 2 minutes to really get a step forward. The big difference this time being that Emission is up against the CC wall to waste a bit of time. So they've got to worry about him because he could be the key to slowing them down and restoring the sort of delay that we saw in the prior round. And I think for now they've got to also be nervous about Smash playing at the top of red. This is the same story again in the previous round. So lots of things looking very, very similar. Only Emission's been able to electrify at least one side of this wall.
We can see the Thatcher EMP comes in. That will take the Bandit battery not away, but it will disable it for the time being and allow Nello to get that wall open, the battery being destroyed in the explosion. So that leaves us with a 5 versus 4 after Solotov. During that, was able to pick up a kill onto Exodus, taking down the Arune. Smash still entrenched at the top of red stairs here. Deployable shield, ADS, a lot of utility and gadgetry looking to keep him locked in there. He's able as well to just reactivate. He just makes the call for the pre-placed Nitro that was underneath. Luckily for MNM, it does not connect.
Smash is gone. He's out of there. He has pieced out of the top of red and got himself back to some level of sanity. So for MNM, they've got this east side control they were looking for. That said, Emission charges across but can't quite find the kill onto Nello in time, who brings him down. A 5 versus 3 for MNM. Things looking much better for the team as a collective in this round, but they're down to the last 60 seconds. And this is where, again, that pace needs to step up.
Exactly that. MNM, last time were able to win it out. It was a little bit of a hero play from Usus, but this time, as you say, they've got manpower. They've got utility. They've got everything they need. 5 versus 3, 50 seconds left to go. Time is not a problem yet, but it will become so if they don't get moving. Users is on the windows again that he proved so effective from last time around. He's not going to find any angles this time, I don't think. It looks like Hellraiser's just being a little bit more cautious there, but Smash is on a long rotate underneath here. Desi's on the flank, but I think Neo is just outside of the breach still.
Oh, they know.
They've spotted him. That's it. Neo's just going to hold this down, and he's just going to wait for him to come up. Solotov is there as well to make the challenge. Tyrant finds Rush. It's all falling apart. There you go. They've got the access to site. They can get the diffuser down. Nello does that. Smash abandons his flank. He gets shut down on main.
Wow.
Flawless round for MNM. Much better from them.
Well, pretty decisive round overall. I mean, once they found the two out towards the east on that extended hold, it tells you the story again. We said it back on Coastline of 5 versus 3. Surely MNM can't lose. Oh, lo and behold, they do go on to lose. But in most cases, like the one you've just seen there, they will press forward for the flawless round win. And I think for Smash, it was a good idea what he was trying to do. Probably aware that MNM had him on the drone because a couple of members disappeared away from being aggressive out towards the west. So opted to try and rotate back underneath. However, by that point, in a 5 versus 1, not really too much to say. And MNM already with a pretty rapid timeout here.
Must have spotted something within the gameplay that they feel that they just need to address potentially.
Wait, is the issue that Solotov has had to go somewhere?
That could be it could be part of the issue.
He's not at his desk.
We actually get that just looks like we've got that reclassified as a technical pause there. We've just got the little spanner up in the top corner, so it shows that we've maybe just got a little bit of an issue for one of the players. It could be Solotov, it could be one of the others. Maybe a computer crash or something.
Why is Tyrant an agent of darkness? Look at him.
Cleared out. I always like it always fascinates me the player cams and like the different conditions that people play in, because users you've got in there and he's really nice, airy, sort of, you know,
plants in the background.
He's got his plants, and then you've got Tyrant, like you say, who's just literally in darkness there. He just wants no light other than
he wants his skin to be the colour of the RGB keyboard underneath him. That's it.
That's exactly what he's looking for. But yeah, it always fascinates me to see the players' setups and the different ways that they do things.
I wonder if there was an issue there for Solotov that he had to run off and just try and get sorted. A technical thing, maybe something with the internet. Don't know, maybe a ping, like heaven knows. But he is back and sat down, and the pause has ended. So we can resume things in round 4. MNM taking the last 2 rounds, a Yuzu's ace into a flawless round to really get Clubhouse moving and underway. Good start on the attacking side of things. Again, if you haven't watched Siege for a couple of years, you tune in and be like, wait a second, the attackers are in the lead? What is this? The meta is quite attacker leaning at the minute, and this map, as a few pros have alluded to, is starting to look like it's quite favourable towards attackers, at least on any site, except for the one downstairs here in the basement. That is still quite defender leaning, which is why, no surprise, when Hellraisers have lost Gym and Bedroom twice in a row, they're going to step back down to where things started in round 1 in the basement.
Interestingly, this time, Emission just stepping away from the Vigil and onto the Bandit. I commented last time how well he played that Vigil role, wasting 2 whole minutes without taking any damage whatsoever, and it proved decisive at the end of the round. MNM just a little bit short on time, had to throw the diffuser down, weren't quite ready, you didn't feel, for the post plant, and so for me, that could be a little bit of a misstep for Hellraisers here. We'll see how the round goes, but I think with a bit more time, MNM have a much more solid attack onto this site.
Let's hope so. So, with it kicking off, yes, there's no need to deal with the Vigil being out on the roam, but now you've got to deal with a bit more of a dug-in defense. You might even see Exodus being out and around the map because he's not sat on the mute here as he was previously. I'm looking towards a mission and what is going to electrify here as well. Is it going to be this triple wall to deny it? Is it going to be looking off towards somewhere else? I don't really know what else you can electrify downstairs, to be honest. It has to be the church wall, and sure enough, that's going to be the go-to play. That mainly being aimed, I imagine, towards Neo, who would look to get that opened up from the bottom of main stairs, just to make sure those players inside of church are feeling a little bit sweaty, a little bit insecure, that they won't be able to sit in that room for too long without being tagged out by someone.
The thing is, with Thatcher being available, I just don't know how much value there is in that. Those Bandit batteries...
Well, this is the fun thing. If it's a Kaid, I agree with you. When it's a Bandit, because the deployment time is quite a lot quicker, you bring the Bandit when you actively want to play against the wall, right? I understand your point of, yes, it makes it harder.
I don't think they're going to trick anything off, if I'm honest. I think it's pretty easy for MNM to get that cleared out with the Thatcher, and I just feel like a mission was probably more valuable out in the map.
The fear is you've got to play against the wall if you're playing Bandit to be active, right? Which means grenades can come singing in, which means you could be in danger very, very quickly. Now, Solotov is on the sledge with only 2 grenades across the whole team. A massive difference to what we saw back on Coastline, where their lineup saw them bringing along 6 frag grenades at once. didn't really see too many frag grenade kills, and we said the same yesterday about, I want to say it was Na'Vi, 36 frag grenades in a whole half, and we only saw one frag grenade kill coming out on Oregon. We did see it down as well, but only one kill being completed by them. So I quite like that they stepped away here to bring along some alternative utility. Lots of the breaching charges to help open up the floors, for example. If you lose your sledge, you can still do what's required to attack onto this basement site.
Hellraiser's doing well in the intel game as well. They've managed to get 4 of those drones taken out, so MNM's ability to see exactly what is happening inside of sight is just being reduced and reduced as the round goes on. But we'll see the hatches start to get opened. Nello's going to open the first one into Moto, and then he's going to open the second from stock into Blue. Neo potentially going to be looking to work on that kitchen hatch, or he may well be going down to try and work on this triple wall. Now, there is, and it's a smart move, but that's really his last opportunity to do that, because he's now got to start picking bandit batteries up, and there's plenty more EMPs that can follow in here, but the Nitro could be the kicker. It comes out, Neo backs away, don't think it's going to be successful. He's been shot out.
Got zapped off, either that or he got zapped off, yeah.
Potentially, so it's not going to be going through either way. Now then, Nello looks to push into Moto, but MNM still unable to get themselves into a planting position just yet. Users, however, using another EMP to clear off that wall, and there you go, a mission taken out by Users. Gets aggressive, they can start to get that wall opened up now. Need to find a way to get this plant down though, as everything is starting to fall apart. Nello does exactly that, shot down from Blue, and that is a problem for MNM. They had a lot more time, Des. They just didn't seem to use it wisely enough.
Don't think they were really considerate of where the other players of Hellraisers were out towards the east. They knew the bandit was still trying to trick the walls, so sure, he was a free kill. But they didn't expect the swing. I think it was from Rush, who came from AKs across the top side of Arsenal and got the kill onto Yuzus. There was one player playing on the south side of Arsenal, connecting into Blue. There was Smash himself inside of Blue. And you saw with the second kill that he got, or the second to last kill that he got, the last one, of course, being the one on Tonella to end the round, that he just had no idea, or MNM had no idea as to exactly where he was inside of Blue. So a little bit of slippage on the drone play, a little bit of lacking on the information game, just means it's all too easy for Hellraisers to close things out. With that, though, they do still call a timeout, and I know exactly why this is. This is because they've now won the downstairs twice. They could not win gym and bedroom. They very clearly do not want to go and play Cash and CC. So the conversation now is, okay, well, what is the game plan here, boys? If we go back to gym and bedroom, we've got to do something different. If we go to Cash and CC, it's a site we didn't want to play. And have we really got it in us to play bar and stage? The answer probably being no. Either way, there's got to be a different game plan coming out of the locker.
I absolutely love how evenly matched these two teams are at the minute. We're staring down the barrel of a third consecutive 3-3 half here, which is, of course, what happened in the first two halves of Coastline. It was just dead even on either side. And it could well be the case once again. We're heading into round 5. There's 2 rounds left of Hellraisers defending. And they are, to answer your question, going to take us back to gym and bedroom, Des. As you said, they've lost it twice already. They're going to have to bring something different this time. But I'm not sure what that is, because they've fronted up. They've tried to hold on to that east side. They've just been completely unable to. MNM have pushed them out every single time. And once they've had that control, in combination with Users on the balcony, using the windows, they just haven't been able to control the site.
No, and I think the ideas they've got are great as well, by the way. Like, I don't complain at all about what it is they're doing with the mission looking to be a bit of an active tricker in and around CC and Cash. You've got the mirror window inside of stock that's looking down in towards construction to present like a second mini game essentially for MNM to worry about. And I think although they may be worried that the fact they've lost gym and bedroom twice, one, you've got to remember they probably should have won because Yuzu's aced the whole thing and Flares have found himself 2 or 3 kills inside of stock very comfortably. The other round, sure, they got absolutely rolled over. It was a flawless round. There was very little for them to be doing. That is what needs to change, I think, and maybe those are the areas they're trying to correct round so you don't look at it and say, what can we do better? You did all the right stuff, you just didn't win your gunfights.
MNM moving in to get control over Garage quickly because it forces a mission away. He knows that he has to step back. Once he's deployed those bandit batteries, he can't stand up and actively trick onto that wall. So it's just going to allow MNM the opportunity to quite easily open this wall up. Out goes the EMP, and that is going to be the end of that. Mission choosing to take the batteries out, but
can't give them those points.
Really matter either way. Don't give them that utility score for destroying them as the wall is open. Mission steps himself back into cash, as we have seen twice already. Drone going in multiple times, not being taken out.
This
Tyrant just spotting out the top. It's a great drone that keeps spotting these players out as they try to flank up blue stairs to make life difficult. But this should be a freebie for MNM, Des. If they know the man is there, they should be able to deal with it very quickly, very easily.
Someone else has got to be sat on that drone here, just giving the information of, okay, he's going to peek, okay, no, he's not peeking. There's two of them sat on cams right now, and sure enough, even Neo comes up from the other side. A three-man effort coming out from MNM to a very comfortable closeout onto Exodus, who overstayed his welcome there on the blue stairs.
That's what I like to see. If you've got that information at this level, you have to get the pinch, you have to create a situation whereby it's a freebie. You can't be risking and losing lives. Brilliantly played by MNM. They've baited out the Nitro from Amision there, so they're now safe to push on in to CCTV. Amision's actually dipped himself away, so the east side is theirs. MNM can now get moving. They can get themselves shifting over towards construction. They can start pressuring on towards site. Amision, he's decided that he's going to play the hot tub wall instead. He's got his bandit batteries down there, but now that Users has that balcony, he should be able to take them down quite easily.
Exactly that, right? He can step up to the window and just shoot them out from there. It's why sometimes you'll see a castle being brought on this site. Castle at the gym window, castle at the doorway between the two, and once that's opened up, hey, it's all too easy for the attackers to then start removing away the bandit batteries. They know there's one playing inside of stock, and I would not be surprised if it is Flares sitting there once again, given the great work that he did in the previous round from here. But Yuzu's found a vision with a beautiful headshot onto the bomb chassis, if you remember last time round, so need to see him be a little more careful here.
We can see that window has been opened up by Users. There's nobody pushing on that side from MNM, so may well not bother taking the bandit batteries down. Solotov's got aggressive, though. He's got himself inside of logistics now. He's just waiting for that smoke cloud to clear. He knows where Flares is playing, and with that information in hand, it's easy for him to get the kill. Nello goes in, starts to get the diffuser down, but it will be taken out by Nitro. 3 versus 2. Tyrant straight in, picks up that diffuser, starts activating the case once again. He gets it, but steps a little bit too far out, and Neo is able to find that final kill, and that is going to be the round once again for MNM. Well, Hellraiser's lost it twice, and they weren't any more lucky on the third attempt.
Like, surely you don't try it again. This is where you do step away and try a different site. Even if you expect to get absolutely demolished when you step into Cash and CC, you have no choice. You cannot go back there for a fourth time and expect a different result. Quick pause coming through here as the game needs to be restarted for one of the players. But again, you're seeing that attack Aline was speaking about a little bit here. I think part of their nervousness around defending Cash and CC is in many ways it's a simplified version of gym and bedroom, because the steps of gym and bedroom are take control of the east, so you control the south balcony and then work your way through construction into gym and bedroom. When you're in Cash and CC, that can become as limited as open breach, take west window and go from there. Most teams will opt to look towards garage and getting control of that as well, but not every single team does. So there are less steps to do. It's a little bit easier for the attackers, and I think that is why we've seen Hellraisers be quite reluctant to go there throughout the first 5 rounds.
Interesting, if we look at this map overall, we've had now 3 breaks between the last 3 rounds. There's obviously a technical issue. I think it may or may not be sort of running over from the previous one that we saw between round 3 and round 4. I'm sure it'll be ironed out now, but it just means between round 3 and 4, we had a technical pause. Between round 4 and 5, we had the tack timeout coming from Hellraisers. We've now got the technical pause again coming in, and it's just how do MNM maintain their momentum? How do they maintain that pace that they've been using to get in there? Did they manage to keep it nice and smooth? It gives again an opportunity for Hellraisers to just pause, just take a break, think about what's gone wrong, talk about particularly this defence that they're going to have to go into. Cash and CCTV, as you say, it's been something that they've been avoiding. Again, this could be well timed to just give them an opportunity to really nail down, right, what is everybody doing? What is the game plan here?
Absolutely. It could be a bit of a blessing in disguise, really, for Hellraisers, who are looking towards that 3-3 half. You said you'd like to see us get towards it to make it 3 in a row. Both of the halves on coastline, going 3-3 before the overtime stepped in, and Hellraisers walked away the victor. In case you missed it, at the top of your screen, you can see 8-7 to Hellraisers. All 15 rounds it took to reach the conclusion. And with the way this game's going so far, you get the sense that Clubhouse could be careering in a similar direction. Let's see, though, what the play is going to be. And Mission, once again, back on that Bandits, wanting to actively trick on the wall, which means for the side of MNM, they'll want to get someone downstairs in lounge. They'll want to blow that 4 out with the Ash to stop a Mission playing close and look forwards from there. If they're extra lucky, they could even find themselves actually killing a Mission, assuming, of course, it's going to electrify justify that because he could look instead to completely electrify off the garage walls.
I want to see MNM deal with this East wall nice and quickly, Des. You know, despite it being, if it is actively bandit tricked by Emission, it really shouldn't be something at this level that they struggle with dealing with. As you've said, they've got an Ashe on board with Tyrant. You move in underneath into Lounge, you get that floor opened up. It can be done from main door, Des. You don't even need to go in there and risk a gunfight. Yep. You don't even need to drone your way in. You just go and open main door. There's an angle all the way through to Lounge. You can fire the breach in charge. In nice and easy. That's going to force Emission away because he can't risk staying there. He doesn't know whether that's come directly from beneath or not. So MNM got to deal with that nice and quickly.
What some teams have done then historically, and I think Virtus Pro were a team that employed this a few times, is you bring a Goyo and set up shields inside of Lounge and actively play a player inside of Lounge to be able to contest onto the main door. But by the looks of it, it's going to be a story at least coming in for MNM where they want to get control of Lounge and push forward from there. They have got a couple of players on the side of Hellraisers that are lurking around. You've got Exodus, you've got Smash, all the sort of things they would possibly need to try and hold down this downstairs.
Exodus actively challenging towards that main door. As I suggested, it can be used to try and apply pressure to Emission, but basically there's a lot of manpower and utility being put towards keeping that East breach closed for as long as possible. We're 1 minute into the round. I don't believe it's been opened yet, but look at the progress that MNM are making towards site from the opposite side here. Solotov's got himself established inside of construction. He's able to start looking for angles in towards site, potentially think about clearing out some utility like the deployable shield. There's a little token challenge comes in there from Rush as he just moves across that doorway, but he's not going to challenge that too heavily.
I love how throughout the series we've seen Solotop be very quick at getting inside the building. Think back to Coastline, 20 seconds in, he's already charging his way through the building, looking to try and take a fight with drones at his feet from the more supportive players on the side of MNM. It is good they've got that point man. It's a very kind of Na'Vi-esque style when you think about Doki. Now he gets droned in an awful lot. It looks very, very similar. But here come down the walls of Rome around Hellraisers. CC being opened up here, and 3 members of Hellraisers are forced out towards red. Smash, what can he do from here? Looking to step out, must know that one's on the rappel, but he's going to have to run if he wants to make this work. Of course, a much quicker notification now given to MNM, meaning they should be able to challenge things out, but he's just hoping to find someone being a little bit careless.
Rush wants absolutely no part of that realistically, because if he does go for it, he's almost certainly going to lose his life. Emission was just caught a little bit away from that east wall there, and the opportunity was clear for it to be opened up, and right now this site is like a piece of Swiss cheese. It's absolutely full of holes, and Tyrant manages to find a kill through one, finding a headshot onto Rush. Nello's getting that diffuser down. Look at where he is. Exodus so close, able to step around and get him. It was absolutely fractions of a second from being completed, and in come the kills from Hellraisers. Somehow MNM have given up the advantage that they had with that access to site, and Hellraisers, they've been able to hold on. Tyrant moves up, shut down by the shotgun on red stairs, and Hellraisers somehow managed to hang on.
There's a beautiful irony in that kill coming out from a shotgun with the secret skin on, knowing that could be the team that MNM face next week if they lose out in this series. A reminder to you all, the winner of this series goes straight into EUL. They take the position of the team that was auto-relegated, and then the team that loses goes on to face the team that finished 9th, which is Team Secret. They play them next weekend. So still plenty more to see from both of these CL teams, I'm sure, as we step into next weekend. But again, a beautiful little bit of irony on my side that I just wanted to point out. Almost cruel.
Heading into the second half then, and it is 3-3 on the split. We saw this back in Coastline. Both halves were shared spoils, neither team able to get themselves an advantage, and in that one we went all the way to 15 rounds. I joked about seeing a few more overtimes today, and it looks more and more like it could be less and less of a joke at this point, because careering towards it. But an interesting first defence coming out from MNM. They're going to be going for bar and stage.
I know Hap is sat backstage watching a bit between the
so
F1,
happy.
a little bit between this, and he's going to be delighted that we get to see this site coming out again. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's been like a niche pick. It's somewhere below niche at this point. Very few teams are still picking into it, but every now and then you do get a team that steps into here with a really cool strategy. I think about like early stage 3, Kavana, Na'Vi, for example. Kavana employing things like the Thunderbird for a roam on Sloth, whereas Na'Vi playing more things like the mirror up on the top floor and looking to basically lock down gym and bedroom, open up loads of vertical holes, and force the attackers to have to come and clear you on the top floor first. This looks very, very similar once again to Hellraisers Hellraisers must have identified by this point. We need control of gym and bedroom before we can even think about an execute.
Going to be heading towards that east side of the map to begin with. As you say, it needs to be top floor control, but I tell you what, Nello, he's controlling Exodus through the stock wall there. Must have had a little bit of information, maybe a yellow ping to assist. Finds a nice kill there.
Or it was just random. Yeah, it was a random spray that collected that kill.
Honestly, there is a lesson to be learned. We're going to see that probably once a year in terms of this level of play, but does it hurt you to take a few bullets?
Nope.
To shoot through a barricade, through a soft wall, and if you get 1 in 100 games, you know what? That's one more kill than you would have got anyway.
Exactly that, Ace. Absolutely. And Exodus, of course, playing on the Yana means those 2 frag grenades have been taken away from the team. Still 2 on Smash, but 2 less than you'd have liked to be looking at pushing in towards this site. What I love is that they've nicked this one from Doki. You've got Tyrant sat playing on the downstairs, a C4 in hand. And if you recall one of their games, I forget which round it was, but you had Doki peek under this hatch. He C4'd into the bar area and killed the player that was going in for the plant. And throwing back even further, I remember that bar area is actually called Tyrant in the UK, because Tyrant ratted there and found himself a 3K once upon a time, many years ago, but it was called Tyrant as a position.
Solotov, he's going to get himself a kill, and that leaves us now 5 versus 3. MNM looking good on this opening defence. Hellraisers, they have made some good progress. They've gone in, they've got stock wall open. That gives them access to the plant spot on stage, but without dealing with those defenders that are in and around the map, the top floor, the basement, it's going to be difficult for them to put it down. As you can see, Solotov users just holding themselves above there. Rush, he's trying to move in, and what a kill from a mission. Absolute beauty over the top of the bar, past the wall, and finds the man at the bottom of main stairs. But it's still not going to be enough to give Hellraisers an opportunity to get that diffuser down yet. More kills are needed.
They are a little bit, Ace. Yeah, it's about stepping forwards here and going big. Yes, it's 1, but they need a bit more, and they're also so light on information. Only the 1 drone left for these final 60 seconds. They're relying on the defensive side on those evil eyes. A 3 versus 3 sets in as another kill is found for Hellraisers. The smokes are coming out, and you thought maybe you'd see the execute come through, but they're trying to bait out this C4. You've got 1 above, 1 on the middle floor, and 1 in the basement for MNM. They are scattered across all 3 floors, and it's not quite the same story for Hellraisers, but you have got Rush holding up on the top floor here, looking through the wall, down through the hatch, holding a very fine angle in towards Solotov.
The reason that Rush is just staying in that position is because they're focused on that hatch, but it's not enough for Hellraisers. Solotov able to challenge from bar, able to get 2. There's no choice now but for Rush to drop the hatch himself, that he was so concerned with being used against them. He's shut down by users from above, and MNM proving that they didn't need to over-aggress on the top floor. They didn't need to extend themselves into construction. They were quite capable of holding down that site from exactly where they were, and that is exactly what they do. 4-3 on the scoreboard now. MNM getting themselves another fine advantage. This happened on Coastline, if you remember, though. They went 5-3 after round 7 and 8, and then it fell apart from there, and they were reeled back in.
Bar and stage is one of those sites that every time I see it, I'm just like, there are 10,000 ways to defend it, and attackers can't possibly discover and clear every single one of them. Are you really going to say to me that an attacker can hold down inside a Moto, for example, that 2 can push upstairs and play for the trade and 2 can go for the execute? It's just so rare, because you get things like C4s coming out of the basement. You get yokais that deny you away. You get a player sat inside a bar that can peek you on either side of the bar wall. It's an absolute nightmare for attackers to deal with. And once again, it's showing for the side of Hellraisers that it's a struggle. And I really do like seeing that side. I do wish we saw it a bit more, and hopefully we will moving forwards. But here we step down into the basement in round 8, more towards the go-to site for most defenders on this map, Tim.
It is indeed. We're going to be going, as you said, to Church and Arsenal. It looks like MNM are getting themselves out into the map. There was a couple running up towards the top floor. We've got Solotov in and around strip as well. So MNM looking for a nice broad defence here. Now up on the top floor with the mute, just looking to deny that east breach for a short amount of time. If nothing else, just waste a little bit of utility. The thing is, there's a number of breaches needed down on the bottom floor here. So really, Hellraisers, they don't want to be giving away too many of those hard breach gadgets, so it's a smart play from MNM. Try and burn 1 or 2 of them on that top floor clearance.
Absolutely. Here we go then with the walls being opened up. We've seen it so many times over from both teams here, with the Thatcher being available does make these nice and easy to open things up. Not that there was any major denial on the other side. We speak about this site as a great example of why Mute now isn't really the go-to operator for keeping walls closed. Either you have a Mute jammer in the middle and you just go towards the left or right to get the wall opened, or you have a jammer on the left and the right of the wall and you just go in the middle and open it up from there. You do have to rappel down, but it just makes Mute much less effective at keeping these walls closed up.
The big thing is that now Hellraisers are limited to 2 hatches, Des. That's the most that they can open up. They've got 1 from the Thermite and it takes 2 Selma charges out of the 3 from Flares to open 1 up. So just by reinforcing that East Breach, by having that presence in and around there, it just reduces the utility, it just reduces the gadgetry that Hellraisers have got when it comes towards that final execute. The one thing that they do have to make up for that is time at this point. They've got 1 minute 40 still on the clock and they're starting to open up hatches. By contrast, when we saw MNM attacking onto this site, it was down to maybe 30-40 seconds, Des. They're a minute ahead of them here.
It is, yeah. This is the risk you take, right? You don't full clear absolutely everything, but you accept the risk that you might get yourself bit a little bit. Solotov being caught on the heels there. A great little toe shot that people are paying a lot of money for onto Solotov. Gets the opener in the round. The man who found a 3K in the prior, let's not forget. It's a good start for Hellraisers.
It is a good start indeed. 5 versus 4, a minute 10 left on the clock. There's going to be a lot of pressure that is mounting on MNM here, and it'll be a frustration for them if they lose this site. It's certainly not lost yet. They can definitely hold on to it, but if they don't, after getting bar and stage, you look at Church and Arsenal and think, yeah, this is our opportunity. We can get ourselves a little bit of breathing space here, but Hellraisers, they're not allowing MNM to take a breath. The remaining 4 are down on site. They've got everything covered, but it's surely only going to be for a matter of time as that Selma charge is successfully going to detonate. It's an angle that we've seen Palu use countless times with the Hibana. He'll get down there, he'll prone at main stairs and make an absolute nuisance of himself, but a kill does come in onto Exodus, leaving us 4 versus 4, 28 seconds.
Division, no, he must know the man's there, but Tyrant finds the shot round the corner. The 4 versus 3 sets in for MNM. The dream start for them as Rush trying to rush his way up. Blue shut down by Neo. A 2 versus 4 smash with 1 big kill coming in, but oh, what a spray through the wall! Finds Neo, another triple in the round. It's all over the shop here. Yuzu's finding 1 back, but it's a 1 versus 2 and 5 seconds on the clock. Yuzu's to close out, but what a crazy end to the round once again.
Nice little clean-up at the end there from Users, just picking up 2 with the shotgun. MNM, they were in control of that site exactly as they needed to be. It was well played from them. They lost the early man with Solotov going down to smash, but then after that point, they just showed that they had such an understanding of the angles of exactly what Hellraisers were trying to do on that attack, and they were just ready for them at every turn. There was 1 kill that really turned the tide for me in there, as it was Tyrant onto Emision. Probably shouldn't be winning that fight. Emision was ready for it coming, but somehow Tyrant just managed to come away with the kill, and it was really big for MNM. That was the point where you just felt the round slipped away.
We spoke already a little bit about the ludicrous entry stat that Yuzus have got as 23-3, right? This game in itself, looking at his kill record, is already ludicrous. He's 13-2, Tim. Like, he was quiet back in the first map at points, but this map, man, the guy's been on fire. Admittedly, 5 of those kills coming from the 1 ace that he got in the round back in the first half, but still a wonderful job being done by him to ensure that his team are in the lead here. Now, where I get a bit nervous, and you'll probably join me in this thought, Tim, is we've been here before. We have been at an MNM 5, Hellraisers 3 scoreline, and it was just on the last map. They lost 3 rounds back-to-back, in which Hellraisers clawed their way to 6-5. We went through to overtime, and we saw Hellraisers win it out. MNM really need to finish this off here and now. They're having a great start on the defensive side of things. Let's get it over and done with now. Get to 6 at the very least to guarantee overtime, and 1 more to get the second map win, because essentially the series then resets into a best of 3.
That is exactly the point that you find yourself in. And the thing is, Fresh spoke about it on the desk before we got into the game. It's about that mental aspect. It's about knowing that you are challenging, that you are fighting, that you're not going to get run over, that you're not just giving up all that year's hard work too easily, that you're keeping yourself competitive and fighting, and it just sends a message to Hellraisers of exactly what it's going to take to get themselves into EUL. Both of these teams know that they are in for a hard fight over the next couple of hours if that's what they want to achieve. Now then, Emision just spotting out that clash. Exodus getting aggressive. Hellraisers moving very quickly here, Des.
They are. We spoke about it in the last round as well. They don't really waste time. They get the drones in, they find what they need to, and they commit towards the push. Now, the Clash is here to slow them down, so Nello's got to be careful that he doesn't expose himself to those longer angles, getting himself picked off before he can really be effective, or a trusty nade coming in from below. They're on the hunt here. Oh, what a nade as well, connecting straight onto him from below by Exodus. Off goes the Clash, and that's going to be frustration number 1 removed for Hellraisers.
That's a great way to deal with that shield that's just going to make pushing into that east side extremely difficult. Neo is still locked in position on the Wamai though. Plenty of gadgetry to help him stay there, but Solotov has been downed, and this one is definitely going in the direction of Hellraisers. It's Usus, that man once again. No, Des with a big double. Gets shut down on a trade by a mission, but the damage might already be done. It leaves us now 2 versus 3. Solotov down, and unlikely that Tyrant can pick him up, or is it? I think he's heading over there, Des. He's gone on the long trip. He's trying to find him. He's trying to get his man back on his feet, and that's exactly what he does. That could be pivotal.
They know, because what they've done here, they've seen this on a drone and just charged their way forwards. They've got themselves inside a stock, and there is no one there to greet them from the side of MNM. Rush finding one more. Frostmatch removes a smart man. Solotov finding one for himself, and back on drone for a second. A little bit of a mislip there. We've all been there, ladies and gents. Let's not get too excited. And Solotov has got to clutch this one out in the 1 versus 2. They're trying to work his way around here. There's 2 members of Hellraisers just in front of his face. One going in for the plant, but they don't know where he is entirely here. He can disrupt, but no, when Mission finds the swing, he looks the wrong way for the briefest of seconds and gets the close out. And this is where it could begin, Ace. Hellraisers on the march back up.
Solotov just had to sprint a little bit there. He could hear that diffuser going down, and he didn't want to miss his opportunity to deny it, but I think it was that sound that gave it away to Amision. He was watching Bathroom, but as soon as he picked up the pace, that little rustle of clothing will have been all that it took. Amision swings onto the door, closes it out, and it's a good attack from Hellraisers. Leaves us now 5-4, and they start to fight back into it. And Des, this has gone exactly the same as Coastline. MNM getting themselves to 5-3. Hellraisers starting to rein them back in. If you remember last time, it was 3 rounds in a row for Hellraisers at this point that then put them 6-5 up. MNM haven't had themselves a map point yet. Is this going to be their first opportunity? They're going to try to lock down CCTV and Cash.
Here's that nade again from below onto the Clash, by the way. Just stepping back up to the north ever so slightly, Nello, I think, as it came in. Back through the doorway and gets himself blown to the high heavens. Uses with a great couple of kills on the push-up. I thought he might even find 3 here, but did get pressure from Garage at the perfect time to balance things back out. So a good attempt by MNM, but not quite enough to get the round close over to their side. In this round, what I'm really excited to see is this Flores coming out. We haven't seen as much of it towards the back end of Stage 3 than I thought we would, or even really at the Sweden Major now that I think about it. Yet players like Alems have gone on record and said it's broken. It's the strongest operator in the game right now. And I do agree it's a very strong operator. I don't want to say concerned, but curious to see what this does to Hellraiser's playstyle. We've both said in the last couple of rounds how fast they have been. With the Flores, you're spending half of your round on those Rotero drones. You're not really moving forward at pace. You're kind of like a slow march forward, slowly forcing the front line back from the side of MNM, clearing out the Evil Eyes, the Banshees, whatever else it might be in your way. That's what you're relying on the Flores to do. So this could slow them down a little bit here, and I'm keen to see how the rest of the team play around it. Do they set up and wait for him to do the work that he needs to get done, or do they still keep on pressing forward aggressively and leave him behind?
No mute on the side of the defenders is worth noting as well, so the Rotero drone's march is not going to be halted by utility. It can of course be shot out, but it's going to be going in there and just trying to clear out as much utility as possible.
Swing.
That is a nice swing from Solotov there, taking down Exodus, who moved into the map quickly and was looking to apply a bit of pressure from that west side, but that just gives MNM an opportunity.
He just shot it! He just shot it and disabled the Rotero!
There you go.
I didn't even know you could do that. I mean, it's going to go off anyway, but it's still cool. I didn't know you could do that. I thought once they're down and deployed, that's it. They're off.
No, absolutely not.
Today I learned.
You certainly did. Very excited about it.
I was like, oh, you smart man.
Very excited.
I was very excited about it.
I'm here for it, Des, you know. That's what I'm all about.
That's what we're all about, is the excitement and the energy.
Certainly is.
Love it.
Everybody can't know everything, and right now, MNM, I don't think that they completely know exactly where Hellraisers are pushing from. We see a couple of them moving around underneath. Amision manages to find Nello. Amision manages to find Solotov, and this is what I was saying. I don't think that they're aware that that pressure was maybe immediately coming from the breach like that. And Neo, he's moving around underneath, but there's not going to be an opportunity for him to challenge now, as Amision's moved himself away way. He is low health, but all of a sudden Hellraisers find themselves at a man advantage once again.
Is that going to catch the Evil Eye still? Can we just check if that Evil Eye is still there?
Very possibly. It was close enough, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was close.
I mean, questionable placement of a magnet in that case. Evil Eye is gone regardless of what happened with the magnet. 2 for 1.
Smash is in sight here.
He is indeed. Looking to round his way on towards red. There's one a bit lower down. Sees the man, sees the leg. Can't quite get the second in time. Neo trades it back the other way. Hellraisers the 3 versus 2. The plant's going down, but Tyrant living up to his name and bringing down a mission with that FMG. Flares is sticking out the plant, though.
Gotta go.
MNM are going to be able to stop him here. There's 1 second left on the timer. Rush finds another. It's a 2 versus 1. And dare I say it, Ace was seeing that swing back. Tyrant has got to clutch out massively here. Almost saw the backpack, but just about missed it. And the head as well to the left. Could have seen the man, but gets shot through the wall. Hellraisers have found 2 of those 3 rounds to swing things back. I said earlier on that we were worried about seeing it come through, and it's happening now.
Guaranteed once again of 12 rounds. We have got back-to-back. This is identical to what we saw on Coastline. Surely we cannot be heading towards another 15-round thriller here on Clubhouse. We just cannot maintain this sort of pace. It's going to be interesting if it does go on exactly what it does to the teams and the players, Des, because if you get a 7-2, a 7-3 win, you're done. You move on to the next one. If you're going 15 rounds, that is a mental slog. These players are going to become exhausted. Not once, let alone twice, 3 times. Who knows? It could really start to impact on the play in those late maps.
This is the thing for a number of these players, if not, the vast majority of them. This is their first time stepping into a best of 5 like this. Look back to SI earlier this year when we spoke about NIP versus Liquid in the final. Liquid were absolutely shattered by round 5. We saw it in the play style. They were low on energy. It wasn't quite the same as we'd seen in the first couple of maps, and it was putting on a really good show up to that point. Admittedly, did have a game just before it as well, so a lot of Siege to play
Empire
in one day.
G2 as well, though. Empire came out and said that unlimited overtime on Coastline took its toll.
Exhaust teams, and you've got to start thinking about that the longer the game goes on. As we get in towards Chalet, Villa, these maps towards the end of things, you will start to see the toll taking it on some of the players that haven't been in this spot before. Now, Nello, the man on the left of your screen, has seen a fair few of these, though, mind you. He shouldn't be any stranger to exhausting best of 5s.
No, absolutely not. The thing is, it's not just about the length of time. It's the pressure that you're under consistently throughout that time. This is the biggest moment for these 2 teams. This is what the whole year has been about. It is this moment here and now. And playing under that constant pressure with that level of focus and concentration, that responsibility not to feel like you're letting your teammates down or anything else, will take its toll. And that is going to be another question that is to be answered as we continue throughout this game, is who stands up to that the best? Who is the most resilient? Who has the best stamina in terms of continuing to focus in this game and not let those mistakes start to slip in, which inevitably they will. And it's just whether the other teams can take advantage of it when they do.
They will, but when is the other big side of it you've got to think about. So time will tell. Let's get back into things, though. Round 11 is well underway. Obviously, about 60 seconds in here at this point. So we had a good little ramble for a couple of minutes whilst they sorted out the issue. I'm pleased to report that the issue has been very quickly resolved. Now, looking in towards MNM, they're relying so heavily on the Intel denial game here, bringing along the Mew and the Mozzie. Of course, gives you a couple of C4s backed up by Nellos at the same time, so lots of denial capability coming in if we do see Hellraisers looking in for some vertical play. They're starting to get this single wall opened up, or at least looking in towards it at this point. What a great couple of shots come out of MNM already into the 5 versus 3.
This is it. This is the round that MNM need. Last time it was Hellraisers who got themselves the regulation time map point opportunity, but this time MNM are screaming towards it with 2 big openers. We've seen Hellraisers able to win out 3 versus 5s, but you just feel on bar and stage like their ability to do that might just be a little bit more limited because they've got men above, they've got men below, they've got men on site. There's absolutely problems everywhere to be dealt with for Hellraisers right now. They've got a minute left to go and they need to start finding some blood here. They need to start finding some kills.
We've been here before as well. Remember when Solotop was sat in the bar, Tyrant was downstairs, Uses up above. It's the same story, only MNM have got more members left alive. It is not a 3v3 like prior, so I'm a little bit nervous. Rush at least goes some way towards bringing that back down, gets rid of Uses, who was doing a lot of work on the top floor prior. Solotop is still up there, so a bit of a change in who's playing where, but a similar strat coming out for MNM.
Flares now holding the angle into bar. Smoke canister, going to give an opportunity potentially for him to go in and think about getting this diffuser down. He moves in just past main door. They know that Usus isn't on the cover for the position near this wall. There is an opportunity. Rush has gone big. He's got himself 3. Nello goes down as well. Surely this is it. Flares, he's getting that diffuser down. There could be the challenge from above. He sees one. He gets one. It's all up to Neo. Can he stick it? He's going to stick it, Des. That is it. The diffuser's down. It's 1v1. It's Neo versus Flares, both on full health. Flares tries to get himself out to a position of safety. Neo straight onto that diffuser. Is he just baiting him out here? He's trying to get him to move back in.
It's a mile away.
Flares is a mile away. He's got the doors are open. I think it's just the visual bug that we've got showing the barricade in place. But Neo right now, he's just trying to get him to come in, Des. He's trying to get a fish on the hook. He could have stuck it then, but he won't know that. Flares just dips in, takes the challenge. Neo knows where he is. Flares! Flares gets that final kill, finishes with a flare, with a flourish, as he manages to close out the round. And once again, it's going to be Hellraisers having that map point opportunity. MNM just unable to get themselves to the finish line.
I can't believe that it's come down to it again. 2 maps in a row. I kind of said it as a joke earlier, like, surely they won't bring it back down. 5-3 MNM, one more, they get at least to overtime. But no, once more, they have lost 3 rounds on the bounce to get us to a point where Hellraisers are about to take the map. And I don't want to make the joke because it sounds so cruel, but pros don't fake, Tim. He really could have stuck that. He had 2 or 3 opportunities that it looked like Flares would not have been able to get there in time because he was long-arming it.
I think there was one in particular, wasn't there, where I think he was about 1.5 seconds away from completing it, and you think Flares could have maybe got round to make a challenge, but it would have probably needed like an insta headshot to get that kill and to prevent it going. But it's so easy for us to say we've got the top down, we can see where Flares is, we can see how long's left on the timer. From Neo's point of view, think of yourself in that situation. You're holding on to that F key. You think you hear footsteps. You don't know whether you're going to be challenged. You know that you want to be able to actively take that gunfight should it come. And it is so difficult to judge those situations. But I tell you what, take a bow, Rush. You absolutely went big on it during the round. We've sort of skimmed over it in the post round. But what a play from him on that top floor. Gets one onto Usus and then just sweeps across and takes everybody out.
That's it, right? I mean, looking at it, it's the big plays like that that dot Hellraiser's journey so far throughout CL. You look back at some of their games and it's like, man, they had some big hero clutch moments. And you look at a team like that and you think, a team that relies on that style of play, they won't go far in EUL because you don't get as many opportunities to make plays like that against big, experienced players. Now, I think at least here it will benefit them just fine. And we're seeing more and more throughout this series how they are building on that team play. So it's not just that they've got the hero play potential, it's that they've also got the incredible team play backing it up. And it really speaks volumes to this Hellraisers team and how much they deserve this. A lot of us are behind MNM naturally, UK boys, all the rest of it. But I don't think anyone could look at how Hellraisers has played today. If they do take this map and go on to win a 3rd, that they wouldn't deserve getting into EUL.
Oh, Hellraisers are well deserving of everything that they've got. They've played fantastically well. They've been behind on the scoreboard. They've been able to fight back twice. They've done a great job. And I think, right now, they are worthy of their position in front. Now then, we're down on Church and Arsenal for the 12th round here. MNM's last chance to take this one into overtime. We saw this previously from them. Only one time on the defense, round 8. But if you remember, Des, it was a very good defense from them. They lost Solotov to begin with. They were 4 versus 5, but Hellraisers had very little chance when they got down to the site, when they actually tried to go in and execute. MNM held it down extremely well. Now Exodus is moving in. He's going to find himself one. He finds 2. Hellraisers are going in, and they're taking this by the scruff of the neck, Des.
I love how he's got the 2 kills and then backed out. He's like,
yeah, I'm done.
Got my 2 kills. Back on the drones. You boys can catch up here. And that was inside this 30-second window between 2 minutes and 1 minute 30. It's unbelievable that he's done it because look back at Coastline when he tried to do that, pushing Solotov, who was sat on bars. He died for free, but here has made it more than worth it. 2 big kills, and Hellraisers might be able to take club here 7-5.
They really might. 1 minute 15 left to go. There is an absolute age in terms of a Church and Arsenal attack. Solotov has to dip away from the main corridor there lest he be challenged. He's also trying to use those impact nades to stop the breaches coming in, but unsuccessfully, Des. It looks like MNM are just falling apart a little little bit here, as you say, just a missed timing. It was always far too late for that impact nade to have any real impact, so to speak. Users, however, finds flares. Can MNM do it again? Can they fight back from a man disadvantage down in the basement to take us into overtime? Yes, it comes. Solotov, users find Rush and Smash. Surely not again. The Toxic Babe Canister just trying to slow just halt the progress here. But it's Exodus once again from Blue. He goes big. Can he find an ace to take them into the third map? He manages. No, he finds the kill. Solotov 1 versus 1, Des.
It's all going to come down to it. A mission, waiting for the swing, sees it step across, but can't quite land the shots. Solotov down to a single bullet to death. Who wins the 1v1 for the second map? It's going to be MNM. They keep it going. We go to overtime again. But this ace is where they've got to rip up the script. We cannot see Hellraisers win this map 8-7 after the way MNM have just fought their way back in.
I mean, I've got to take some personal responsibility for this. Back in map 1, I suggested it might be fun because it's been so entertaining to see all 75 rounds of this best of 5. Well, we're in map 2. We had 15 in the first, and we might well have 15 here in the second. This has followed the exact same path as Coastline in terms of the scoring. 5-3 MNM led in that second half. They were reined in by Hellraisers, who got themselves 3 rounds in a row, 6-5, and then MNM somehow managed to battle back out of the 1v1. These players must be mentally exhausted already. What a challenge it has been. This time, it's going to be Hellraisers on the defence to kick us off in overtime, and they're going to head down to the basement.
It's just full of moments. I know I keep on saying it, but CL finals every single year is incredible, and this game is not falling short. There's just something you can highlight from every single year. Seemingly every single game has got something to offer. Right, MNM are on the attacking side, Hellraiser Star on the defense. We'll go back again to look at how Coastline started. It was a similar sort of story, I believe. Let me just scroll my way back up to round 13. No, Hellraisers were on the attack, so a small bit of difference, but different map altogether. Either way, it's been another one of those split games where you can't really back either team. You just have a feeling it's once again going to go all the way through to 15, Tim.
You really do. You know, the thing is, the problem that Hellraisers have got nowadays is that they've struggled to win anywhere other than Church and Arsenal, realistically. You know, they've had 2 wins on Church and Arsenal, and then 1 in CCTV. Gym and Bedroom was an absolute no-go for them, but you just feel like they don't like CCTV. They chose Gym and Bedroom 3 times rather than choose that, and they lost it every time.
I think they will go there at some point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It'll be the second defence if we get there.
Look, they won that year, and they lost Gym and Bedroom 3 times. Like, I think they've kind of proven to themselves now, okay, we can play inside of that site. It's not a problem. Cash and CC can be our ball game. Speaking of ball games, God, a mission has basically been slapped in the face by a couple of, well, I don't want to say the word, to be fair, been slapped about a little bit here. He's down to about 10 HP, but vaults over and gets the kill. What is that onto Tyrant for free? Oh, down to a slither of HP. A single bullet would have been enough to close it out here for him, but he's still alive inside a garage. And now MNM have got to commit some more into waters. They've got to clear him out. And here he goes on the vault down. Surely he doesn't pull off the great escape. No, he doesn't. Users will find him. And order is restored.
Great there, 4 versus 4, but what a start from Emission, using every fraction of his health that he had left to get that big opener for them. I complimented him on his Vigil play previously. Not quite as successful this time. It was 2 minutes wasted and back to site the last time that we saw him do that on this site, but he's been unable to get himself back this time or waste anywhere near as much time. They've lost the Ash on the side of MNM, not the greatest of losses. They've still got the gadget, they've still got the utility that they need, and they've still got the time. Now then, Nello's going to look to open up Dirt Tunnel and apply a little bit of pressure to Flares. It may well be as he's scarpered away after opening that, just to keep Flares busy in there, to keep him locked into Dirt, because he's going to think, I can't leave this position because they might push us from there. So it might just give MNM a little bit more freedom with at least one of these Hellraiser players tied up in Dirt Tunnel.
Flares blast, they haven't got any impacts to play behind, which is normally the reason why you'd see that sort of under counter hole open up. You chuck impacts in, they strike the bottom of the counter, they destroy any gadgets that have been set up, or in this case hard breach gadgets that have been set up on the hatch. It's already been opened up, but not quite sure what it was all about. Bit of a risk for Flares for seemingly no reason at the very least. Now grenades are starting to sing their way through in towards Smash, who has pulled himself back ever so slightly. Yuzu's lurking up here and just waiting for someone to try and push main stairs, because as we've seen before, Hellraisers will send people up main stairs to challenge, but the drop comes in and it's a bit of a counter slaughter. Neo finding one and now going for the default plant. Can Flare step in and get the shutdown?
Exodus is looking to make that challenge from the double door. Neo, however, has managed to stick. He has to fight, and he does so, gets himself one. But more importantly, MNM feel like they're set up for this, Des. They've got that top floor hold, and there it is. Solotov gets himself a kill. It's going to be traded back out, but there is still users. Flares is low health. There's very little that he is likely to be able to do here. He has to take the challenge onto users, who cleverly just backs himself away. Look at the time that has been wasted now. Users just needs to wait. He can start heading back in towards Kitchen here to make this challenge, just to put him off, and there exactly is what he's going to do. Couple of seconds, there you go. It was unlikely at the point that he saw him that he could get the kill and get back before 7 seconds. It was already down to 9 seconds on the clock, so very, very tight for Flares there. And somehow MNM get away with a bulk drop of Hatch where they just all go in. Nello loses his life. Neo picks up the diffuser and gets it down. What a start to overtime for MNM. This could be their map to level things up.
I had to recheck what was going on there, because Neo was sticking the plant in the default spot and there were 3 members of Hellraisers just converging onto him, and I was like, is it a 1 versus 3? Like, no, it's 3 versus 3. Where are the 2 members to contest him here? But they were so determined to watch the main stairs, for example, to keep these cover angles off, that they were less concerned about Neo himself. But he's done a lot of work there to drop in, get a kill despite being under heavy fire, get the diffuser down and get an exit frag too, and then die is great from Neo. Really, really good start to the overtime rounds for MNM. They get the one they need. Now they need to hold on for at least one of these next 2. One victory is all they need to force us into a 1-1 map score, and then we get a full series reset.
Imagine the scenes if we get to 1-1 here, heading into what will effectively be a best of 3. It's going to guarantee that we see at least 4 out of 5 games. The final decider in the best of 5 could be on Cafe, and you just feel like that is going to be an absolute bloodbath. It's going to be a kill fest if we get there. We're just going to get this technical pause sorted out, and we will head back in. Both teams just having an opportunity once again, take a breather, have a little chat, just try and solidify things. But I think MNM are going to be feeling pretty good here. They've got themselves onto the defence. They can go to whichever their favoured site is. They did well on Bar and Stage. They did even better down Church and Arsenal, but it always seemed to be a little bit flying by the seat of the pants down in Church and Arsenal. They had to overcome manpower deficits a couple of times, so I am interested to see where they choose for this one.
Absolutely. Maybe getting back into it in just a second. I saw Flares clock the headset back on, so we should be good to go in just a couple of moments. It's one of those that, like you say, I'm also curious to see where it is that we choose to set up in the next defensive round, potentially for the side of Hellraisers. I expect it will probably be back on the downstairs, but time will tell. For MNM, it's going to be their choice. They've got all 4 sites to play around so far. Do they go back into something like Bar and Stage that has been so successful for them so far? Peering through the scoreboard, yes, it is going to be Bar and Stage. They've defended this super well, and I think Hellraisers don't have an answer with how to deal with their defense there. So to me, it makes plenty of sense.
You just send Rush through top floor to kill 3 people.
Yeah, that works totally fine as well.
That's how you deal with it. No problem.
Bit too much reliance on one player to do a bit too much magic there for me, I think, Tim.
Yes, I would agree with you. Now then,
but what I do like, by the way, just a note quickly,
it's quite all right.
with the Twitch coming in, 4 smoke grenades on side. They've lent into those smoke grenades very heavily last time round. Why not double down and commit to it here again?
The interesting thing here, it's worth mentioning, if MNM do not win it now, Hellraisers will have another opportunity at Church and Arsenal. And you feel like MNM, yep, they went for the big hatch drop last time. You can't necessarily get away with that every time. Hellraisers have been good down in Church and Arsenal. It's been their favoured site. I think they'd feel quite confident down there if they had to go back. So for me, MNM, it's quite important that they just take this one by the horns now and they just get this done. Over the line. This is your opportunity. Do not give them another chance to get back into this.
Eustace himself has risen into the occasion. We spoke about him earlier on a little bit and said he was quiet back on coastline, but this map just about to break over the 20 kill barrier. 19 so far. Solotov sat on 13. Great game for those 2 players. And on the other side, yes, Smash is still up there and Flares has really woken up in the second game. But by the same token, a couple of others have fallen off here and been a little bit quieter. So you're feeling the kind of sharpness of the spear here for MNM on Clubhouse.
Certainly are. Now then, Neo just repositioning those evil eye cameras, checking for any drones, any little bits of intel utility that he can get rid of. Ooh, that's a nice little shot from the Twitch drone there to open up the mirror window. That's going to make the life of Neo just that little bit more difficult. Obviously, he was able to challenge into construction from there, but as we see, immediately relocates himself and gets damaged whilst doing so. And that is nice little chip away from MNM there from Hellraisers.
It is, yeah. Once again, with this bar and stage site, you'll often see the majority of the team on the top floor trying to play through the vertical angles to stop the attackers getting free control of the verticals. It's really a kind of all-in-one sort of vibe when you're sitting up on the top floor, and that mirror window is pivotal to stop a cash CC push coming in. With it being opened up, this is when Hellraisers should be committing attention out towards the east and looking to get control of this construction. That appears to be the plan so far, given there are 4 or 5 of them all playing out on this angle, but Exodus once again is setting up in position, looking to challenge into the man that sat behind the bar, and it's Nello here rather than Solotov like we saw the first time they defended this site.
Exodus, of course, has had some big moments in this game. We saw his push through blue corridor particularly, which worked fantastically well, and right now Hellraisers, they could do with a little bit more of the same from him. They just need one of these players to have one of those moments again with a 2 or 3 kills just to really catapult them into this round with the momentum. But for the time being, MNM, they've set up their stall and they're able to hold on nice and solid here. They're not giving any ground, but they're not getting overly aggressive. They're happy to play their positions and just wait for their opportunities to come through.
All right, then. Let's see how things shape up. They've got the south side windows if they so desire them. The nade for kill, the first one coming in the round onto Nello. I spoke about this earlier on as well, because Exo can now push straight through. There's no one sat behind the bar, but Usus has got the vertical. This is why you need that second floor control. They don't have it, so MNM can rain down death from above.
Usus just getting himself back into position, manoeuvring around, looking for a challenge towards construction maybe. Tyrant gets the free vision. He knows that the man's gone in, and it's as easy as that. What a play, bringing the Warden after seeing the reliance on those smoke canisters previously, just completely nullifies them. A mission with 1, but it's not enough as Solotov and Neo close out the round. MNM, they get themselves clubhouse, and we go to 1-1.
Was not expecting this when we came into today, Tim. The teams winning each other's match in overtime, no less. But it does mean, for all intents and purposes, we get a full reset, a whole new best of 3 between these two teams on less desirable middle of the pack maps for them. I'm really excited to see how things play out. It's going to be Chalet, Villa, and it's not Coast, that's down on my page. We played that first. It's Cafe, like you said earlier on. That's where we step to next. So those 3 maps gonna be phenomenal, and I think I'm kind of with you by this point. I'd be shocked if we're not going to 70+ rounds across those maps.
Honestly, it's certainly looking that way. There is absolutely nothing to separate these two teams. We've seen 29 out of a possible 30 rounds in 2 maps. It's just going absolutely wild.
How do we do it every single time? It just follows us like a bad smell, except this one is a great smell. It's the smell of a lot of sweat and a lot of time for these players to be investing into trying to get into E. Well, that, of course, is the prize that we are playing for today. We'll go to a quick break, and when we come back, our analysts have got plenty to break down from Clubhouse.
What does it take to create the future of a gaming community?